up being on some chill shit. We go 0 to 100, nigga, real quick.
Welcome to another episode of ICM Podcast, where we keep it 100, where we keep it raw and uncut. I'm your host, Ruben. The guy across the screen is Omar, aka Mr. Controversy. I know he has a lot to talk about this weekend's fights, and yeah, man. I mean, the main event. Let's just get to it. It's definitely Canelo, and let's talk about it, man. I know you got a lot to say. I know you called me over the phone and you were actually telling me, hey, man, you know what? It went from transition from Sunday to Monday when you heard a lot of people talking about it and you had a lot of ideas. I know you did your little homework. So I'm just, go ahead,
let
bro.
me let me just say that, because of you, bro, because of you, I gave this fight a chance.
Okay.
I tried, bro. I tried to get into it, which I did a little bit. We made some bets. Of course, we lost.
Yeah.
Um, but I kind of want to hear your take first before I rant a little bit.
Okay. Okay. No, I understand.
what,
For,
what was your take on the fight, bro?
Okay, well, first of all, let's start off with the betting, right? Let's start off with the betting because I actually put the bets on myself, and obviously we weren't successful. We went with the rounds that we picked. We thought, Canelo was gonna get him between the seventh and ninth round. We thought it was a tune-up fight. We knew this guy was not gonna be the guy that was gonna put Canelo up to the test, but the performance was just really disappointing. And I think what made the performance even worse was that this guy, I mean, it looked like they just picked the guy off the street and they said, hey, tonight you're going to fight. Oh, by the way, you're going to fight the guy that's considered pound for pound best. And on top of that, you had like the whole Floyd Mayweather show with J Balvin concert, which, by the way, let's just talk about the fact that it was kind of fucked up how this guy went up in the ring and then all of a sudden they got
Gotta wait
fucking,
there.
yeah, wait there like for fucking what, maybe at least good 10 to 8 minutes by the time Canelo hit the ring, because J Balvin had a mini concert and then Canelo came out and walked with him,
Yeah.
you know so that's just my opinion. I'm not gonna stand here and say, oh, you know what, you know after this performance, it's just disappointing. It really is. And moving forward, I just hope that obviously the competition. Oh, that's the other thing that I want to mention that I thought it was really fucked up. You know, that if you saw the post interview, right away they said, "Who's next?" I mean, Eddie Hearns right away got in between and said,
Hmm.
"Hold on, we have the promotion. You know what? Everybody
Influencers,
look at
right?
the screen, and then they already had it set up. So it's kind of
Yeah.
it does piss me off because it's like, you know what, you guys had this all this time and you guys had it set up where like, basically that's really what it is. It was set up to the next event,
Yep.
and it sucks. It's unfortunate, but this is, I guess, the guy right now to watch in this era. I guess you could say. Now, I can already see the steam coming out of your ears, and I'm gonna let you speak. But at the same time, um, now looking at, even Monday, they were talking about how, and I know you're gonna break it down because you gave me a really good explanation and I want you to break it down first as far as how did it go about, how did we get this guy? I can't pronounce his name, but how did we get to this point before anything? And I think people need to know the background story of it, which it doesn't justify anything that happened, but at least you can break it down for the audience. And then after that, you go ahead, my friend. I'm gonna roll up the red carpet and you can do and say whatever you want. And the mic's all yours. Just
By the
Mhm.
way, we got a
Okay.
mic because
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's another
feedback,
thing yeah, that's
feedback.
another thing. Yeah, it's another thing I wanted to mention. Before Omar goes crazy, we actually like to thank everybody that gave us feedback. It's really cool. We're working on everything. And we appreciate it. Even if like today's podcast, if it sucks, let us know, or what can we improve on, because we do want to eventually get a really good product to you guys. And we're looking at every way we can, and there's a lot of improvement that we need to do as well. But little by little, have patience with us, and hopefully one day we'll have a really, really good podcast. So, my friend,
Well,
it's all you.
so where to even begin, bro? Nah,
Break it
man.
down, though. Break it down.
Look, it was bottom line. It was so disappointing. I'm just glad we didn't pay pay-per-view money for this fucking shit.
Very true.
Um, but to my whole thing was is like, and I told you, we talked about it, and I asked you. I don't know if you remember in the last week. I was like, who's ranking this guy number one, right?
Yeah.
Where the hell is this ranking number one bullshit coming from? So that's where I did my homework. I did some digging, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so um, basically, and what's his name, real quick? Abney, right? Is the guy that
Okay.
fought Canelo.
That that's that's the fucking guy's name.
Yeah,
Okay.
Abney
I,
fought a dude named Anthony Durrell, right? Which
okay.
he also fought on Saturday. Which probably people didn't know. He fought a dude named Tyrone Davis, which was a more fucking entertaining fight than the Canelo fight. Let me tell you just that. I was looking at the highlights. Way more fucking entertaining fight than the Canelo fight. Same weight class, same division. So this Anthony Durrell fought Abney, which beat Abney by a technical decision. The fight was stopped due to a cut, but yet Anthony Durrell became the WBC champion. All right.
Okay.
Um, for those of you that don't know, WBC, hint, which I'll get into it later too, it's a Mexican council, right?
Okay.
It's
But
it's WBC stands for,
to bring up another good point, my opinion, I know it's the Mexican concert, boxing association, all that crap.
you know where I'm going with
And
it.
yeah, so to me though, the green belt, to me, it seems like it's the most best one, in my opinion.
Most
Out of all
prestigious.
the other belts, I think that's the one that should be, like, if you would compare the UFC to, because the UFC
Okay.
only has one belt on one division, and I know you want to get into that later. We will. But the fact that, like, boxing should have only one belt, and if I think if you really want to become world champion in boxing, you gotta
That's the
go
belt you want.
through the WBC, my opinion. But,
Yeah.
like, get the green belt. I consider you more of a champion, than the other belts. But once again, boxing is so much weight
So
classes,
much
so much
culture.
belts. Yeah, it's different. So continue, my friend.
But yeah, dude. So Anthony Durrell had the WC belt, right? Um, did I say that right? I said that
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And then guess who he lost to, bro? He lost. He got knocked the fuck out and beat the fuck out of by none other than Dave Benavidez,
yeah.
right?
Guy's a
David
fucking stud.
Benavidez,
Yeah,
right? Which we had talked about him a while back ago, me and you,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And like he kind of like disappeared for a little bit, but he had the WBC belt, bro. And from what I saw, they took it away because he missed weight, I guess.
Yeah, he lost it on the scale
Yeah,
instead of the fight. So
which
yeah,
is bullshit.
yeah,
Um, but this is where the whole thing was set up, bro. Like they took the belt away from him to vacate it, right?
hmm
And then they give this Avid guy, Abney guy, a number one ranking to face Canelo because Canelo has the other belts.
okay,
So the WBC kind of fucking set it all up with fucking Canelo so that the title was vacant and they could put it on Canelo and they can give him a bullshit ass opponent. And now Canelo is the WBC champion,
okay,
right?
okay.
Obviously, it's convenient for fucking everybody, right? It's
Yeah,
convenient for Canelo to have the prestige title. It's
yeah,
convenient for the Mexican Council to have a Mexican champion
of
and the
course.
most popular champion.
Yeah,
So it's convenient for fucking everybody that Canelo has this title, that Canelo wins the title, that
yeah,
Canelo has a title. Now, it's publicity, right? Like they just want to be on the main stage, right? Last
correct.
time they weren't on there, and every single time Mayweather fights, they create a belt for Mayweather.
Yeah,
They just want to be on stage. They just want to be on scene for the fight.
yeah, I agree.
Um, so it's kind of like bullshit, which I'm really
Yeah,
disappointed that the most prestigious title, the console, is making these
agree.
bullshit fucking um contenders for Canelo that shouldn't be fucking contenders. Where he should have been fighting David Benavidez, who was the actual WBC
Mhm.
champion, who is also undefeated, who is knocking dudes out, and should be fighting Canelo, but Canelo's dodging him.
Yeah.
So, um,
And let me interrupt you real quick. If you don't know who David Benavidez is, just look at his highlights. Just go to YouTube, put David Benavidez knockouts, and that guy has one of the quickest hands, I think, in super middleweight.
dude, how
I think
slow
in
was this guy?
oh,
How
go ahead,
slow
bro.
was
Break it down. Yeah.
he was so fucking slow, right? And I told you before the fight, right? I told you he was really slow, and but he stands there, right, and he takes the punches, and that's where I thought that okay, he'll go into the later rounds,
Hmm.
because most of his fights go to decision,
Yeah.
and he can actually take a punch.
Plus,
Um,
he looked like a bigger guy than Canelo too, at least in frame wise,
way
right?
bigger, right?
Yeah.
Um, but dude, it was. I go back to what I told you prior to everything, right? Like they Canelo's just picking and choosing. At first I said, he took a page out of Mayweather's book and he ran with it, right?
Hmm.
But he just stole the whole fucking book. And at this point, he stole
Yeah.
the whole fucking book, and
Yeah.
he's copyrighting the shit out of that Mayweather book,
Yeah.
and he's just picking and choosing who he wants to fight. He's putting on shows, putting on fucking concerts in the fights.
Yeah.
Um,
Now let me ask you a question. Whose performance was better, I guess, at this point? Was it Jay Balvin's or was it Canelo's?
I don't know,
Because
dude.
I mean,
You know what? Like even Jay Balvin's, I didn't like it so much.
yeah, yeah.
The
I
new
guess I
song,
mean,
I guess
yeah.
it was a new
And you know
song.
what though? It was all about promotion, even with the Canelo situation, because apparently it was a brand new Canelo song that he performed. And then after that, he gave us the Mi Gente and took him all the way down to the ring, and I mean, even then, like you could just
Yeah,
tell it was
J
just a
Balvin. I don't know what J Balvin's got up his sleeve, right? But he's got like some clothing shit because Canelo
yeah,
was wearing it before the fight,
yeah,
and then he wore the hat after the fight,
yeah, yeah,
and they wore it during the concert and shit. So it's like they
yeah.
have something going on there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all that's the thing. It's all about that promotion shit that's going above and beyond what the sport is as far as boxing. But it's unfortunate, but like I've said it before, it's like the era that we're living now.
And
And you know what? Some people might hear this shit now and they might just be like, these fucking guys, they're old now, right? But we're just saying what we see, and we can go back and tell you fights of like great fights and like we're educated on the sport as well. So it's like seeing this new era that Floyd Mayweather had, and then
created,
yeah, so then Canelo took basically the torch, and it's a little disappointing. It's just
and you have to look at since you're kind of like speaking on the whole performance, dude. And it's like just when as I was watching it, right, and as the fight was hadn't even started yet, and I'm watching all this shit, it's like you just get a super bad sense of like, damn, this is about to be some bullshit. You
yeah,
have Canelo in the back right with Salt Babe, right?
yeah,
With
yeah.
Jay
Shout out to
Balvin.
Saul Babe. Shout out to Saul Babe though. I mean, he had him even he's
You
taking
know what's
so many
fucked up?
pictures.
You
Yeah.
know what's fucked up is that Salt Babe's fucking from Turkey. The other dude from Turkey.
But then you know what's funny?
He's over here chilling with Canelo instead of being with his
Yeah,
homeboy over there.
yeah. And this is the thing, like his paisano. And this is
Yeah.
the thing, like the funny thing is like I went, like the day after I was looking at his story and he took so many pictures with Canelo. And then at the end of his story, he had that one picture
Mhm.
with his boy. Like, hey, yeah,
I think
congratulations, guy. You
I
just
think
got
that's
knocked the
what
fuck
fucked
out.
up the Abney dude, bro. Is like he had Salt Babe instead of having him in his corner in
Yeah,
his locker room before the fight. He was just too broken hearted, bro, because he was over there chilling with Canelo, bro.
probably. I mean, that probably broke his heart. They were hitting the mitts and they're like, fuck, you're gonna lose. And then he's like,
But
why? The South Bay's over there.
going back to what I was saying, bro, like the whole performance bullshit.
Mhm.
Um, go back. go back, and I know that you remember because we watched
Mhm.
Canelo Mayweather. Um, when you go to when you go to those scenes in the locker room prior to the fight, right?
Yeah.
Super fucking different from the scenes now where he's getting ready to put on this event, this show, right?
Mhm.
Um, and the scenes back then when he was going to fight Mayweather, like super different, right?
Yeah.
Serious, concentrated, like it's about to go down. Like, and now it's just like, you think he would put on a fucking J Balvin concert and everything, walk out with him if he was going to lose?
Yeah.
Not at all. Like
Yeah.
that,
No.
he had it handpicked. He knew he was going to win. He knew it
Yeah.
was going to be an easy fight. The WC was a part of it, which is fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's all stupid, man. I mean, he should have been fighting Benavides,
Agree.
or in my opinion, like I said last week, Caleb Plant. Um, but he's doing the same thing that Mayweather's always done, right? Which is I'm like, look, Mayweather is the best of all, right? He's good. I'm not a fan, right? Why? Because
Yeah.
he's handpicked. He's never fought anybody in their prime. The only fighter that I give him credit for is Ricky when he fought Ricky Hatton.
Yeah.
He fought Ricky
That all
Hatton
the
in his
undefeated.
prime. Yep. And ever since Canelo lost to him, he's done the exact same shit. He
Yeah.
doesn't fight people in their prime. He fought Triple G way too late. And now this Sanders guy, yeah, he's undefeated, but I think he's doing the same thing that Mayweather did to him. He's fighting him early. He's fighting him before he peaks, before he hits his prime, and he doesn't want to fight Caleb Plant or David Benavidez because they're hitting their prime too. So he's gonna take out Sanders first, which is he hasn't hit his prime, dude. He's
Yeah.
early.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question. Moving forward after this Billy Joe Sanders fight, who's next after that? Because according to him, he's gonna fight 4 times this year. What's your prediction as far as that? Because I have my prediction, but
Well,
I
his
don't know if you ever thought that far. But I have a prediction of what I think is gonna happen. But I let you speak
his
first. I
his
ask him
whole
question.
thing, right? He says that he wants to unify all the belts, right?
Correct.
Who else has a belt?
Plant.
Caleb Plant.
Yeah.
Caleb Plant has a belt. So if it's true, if he wants to unify all the belts, supposedly like he says, then he has to fight Caleb Plant. If that's his statement of that's what he's
Yeah.
trying to do,
Yeah. He
he
said that
has to
before.
fight Caleb Plant.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, so this is how I'm breaking it down. I think it's going to be obviously Sanders, May, September. I, I'm just going to throw a fucking curveball. I still think he will, and he's going to beat, I mean, Triple G just because of the age. I think it happens in September, and then we get Plant. That Triple G fight will be a tune-up fight, hopefully, for that Plant event at the end of December or maybe early January, depending on how he does, through the whole, you got to include, injuries and stuff like that and everything else like that. But that's the way I have it. But then again, it could be Sanders, some nobody, and then Plant again, But I do think that he will end up unifying. Or we don't know. I mean, I hope Plant keeps his shit together. He doesn't do some crazy fucking. They catch him with cocaine or some hookers or some shit like that.
That's you
That he
talking
keeps
about
his
David.
belt. Well, yeah, David Benavidez did
Benavidez,
that. Yeah,
which
unfortunately, yeah, he did that.
which
The
he
them
did it.
Arizona boys, they get wild out there, bro.
Yeah, but doesn't it seem strange to you that out of nowhere Canelo wants to fight 4 times this year? Like it's scary, but it's scary in the sense where I think he's on his way out, right?
Yeah,
He's trying to cash out. He's
yeah,
trying to, 4 fights in a year. Like nobody does that shit. And
yeah,
and everybody wants to say, oh, that's so impressive. He's staying active.
yeah,
But again, he's fighting fucking nobodies.
yeah,
But I find it kind of weird that he will all of a sudden out of nowhere he wants to fight 4 times a year.
yeah.
I think he's just trying to cash out and peace out.
Yeah, and at the same time, kind of just if he can make some type of history on the way, I guess with easy. I mean, you still got to give you. That's still debatable, as far as yeah, I know you don't like it, but you know what? At least it written in paper or in stone at the end of the. Now, once again, we'll go back. My opinion, like I said, we can't deny Canelo's defense when he's like it has improved so much. He has really good defense. He has a punch, but once again, I feel like
Opponents.
his career is not as great as it could be. I think.
Do you think he'll have the same defense against hands like Benavidez, where he's a lot faster than anybody he's been fighting
And you know what? The crazy thing about Benavidez, it's not just he's fast, he's tall. He has a
and
tall
he's
frame as well.
as fuck.
Yeah. But but see, that's a beautiful thing about the sport of boxing, right? Or just combat sports itself. You want to have those fights. Hopefully it happens. I really hope it happens, but you want to have those fights of styles makes fights, and that would be a good style. Also, the Plant, I'm looking forward to that one. If Plant, like I said, if Plant, I think Plant will fight again before he fights Canelo, and I hope that Plant gets a vicious knockout how he used to get.
You
And
know,
maybe it was a little bit of ring rust in this last fight too. So
you know what I love
there's-
about Plant is his footwork, dude.
yeah,
You saw it in moments. His last fight, yeah, like you said, he didn't show much, right? But in his last fight, there was those moments where he wasn't flat-footed and he was bouncing on his toes and he was moving, he was cutting angles. That's the Plant that can beat Canelo, I think. If he moves, it's same way like I think Amir Khan. Amir Khan was beating him until
yeah,
he got caught, right? But
yeah.
Amir Khan was also a way smaller guy that came up in weight
I,
to fight him.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Caleb Plant is not a small guy.
Mm,
So he's not gonna catch him that easily. He might catch him, but he's not gonna knock him out that easily like he did Amir Khan. But he has that footwork, he has that style that can cause Canelo problems. Because if you notice Canelo lately in his current recent fights, he's very flat-footed. Like he
yeah.
doesn't move like he used to, right? He's
Yeah.
he kind of sits back, and that's why this fight was so simple for him because the dude just stood right in front of him.
Yeah.
He didn't
Just
go
have it.
anywhere. He just
Yeah.
walked. I'll give the guy credit. He stood
Yeah.
there like, he had the balls to fucking stand there.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you get a guy like Caleb Plant that, is gonna work angles on you, that he's gonna move, that he's gonna make you work, like that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And I think he knows that, bro. He knows that. And
Yeah.
same thing with Benavidez, right? He knows that.
Yeah.
But again, man, he's the pound for pound, fighting everybody, beating everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. And you know what? I know on Monday I saw an interview with I don't know his name. I don't want to butcher his name. I'm bad with names, by the way. So bear with me sometimes if I don't get the names right. But Salduman, or the president of the WBC. Uh he basically came out, and I guess he's apologizing for Canelo because everybody was so disappointed at his fight. I
What
saw
did he
that.
say then?
What's up?
Well, he knows he fucked up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he fucked up, and like it fucked up, like it really left a big sour
It's
taste,
like
I think, to
it's like
everybody.
it's like what does that say about your counsel? If
Yeah,
you're ranking this guy number one, you know what I mean? Not
yeah,
not the fact, not this, you know, what I was gonna say, not to mention that he came off a loss. He didn't even come off a win, bro.
yeah.
He came off a
Very true.
loss, and
Yeah,
he hadn't fought in a while.
yeah,
But all of a sudden, you give him the number one rank to fight Canelo for the title.
yeah.
It's the stupidest shit ever.
No, I agree, man. I agree with you, and the fact that, like, the way everything turned out, like I said, I felt like it left a really sour taste on everybody, like at least the hardcore boxing fans,
Oh
because
yeah,
at the end of the day, though, we want to see, yeah, like if
fucking
Canelo
style.
was, destroying cats and destroying the right ones, man. We be dick riding Canelo all the way to fucking until he retires, but unfortunately, that's not how it is,
No.
and it sucks, But
And I
like
think
I
you know
said,
it
I
too, bro.
just,
Like I remember we were fans up,
yeah, for
for
sure.
a little bit, up until, I mean, for me, it was up until he fought Mayweather and he was super
Hmm.
exposed, where he wasn't as good as everybody thought he was because he
Hmm.
fucking got dominated by Mayweather.
Yeah. Also,
And
to mention, the weight had a lot to do with it too. He was, they made him. I agree, man. I think he got, I think he got way too dehydrated for that weight at that time. But then again, like it's all about
That's
money.
that's my other thing, bro. That's my other thing though, dude. Like, and again, maybe, bro. Like maybe he's just but he could. I think he could have stayed at a lower weight class and had way more competition. But
Yeah,
he did, for whatever reason, he decided to go up because it's like the badass thing to do.
yeah,
Go up in weight and fight slower fucking guys. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Where like if he would have stayed down below in the lower classes, he would have had way more competition.
yeah,
But I think he knew that too.
yeah. But going back to the topic as far as like when I stopped being a Canelo fan like that, I think for me was when he moved up weight to the 160 division and he was just tearing dudes up, right? But there was a guy in the mountain called Triple G that was he had consecutive knockouts, and we waited 2 fucking years later, when
Mayweather
both of them
style.
were good, man. I mean, both of them were under prime, and both of them were getting everything done. They were getting knockouts, and it got to the point where I felt like a lot of people started noticing Triple G because they would ask him in every fucking interview for the last like 2 years, okay, we all want to know when is this Triple G fucking fight's gonna happen, and I think, in my opinion, that's when I really was like, man, I don't know about Canelo. And also like I I became such a big Triple G fan because he was actually fighting the who's as far as that division and just beating the shit out of him, you know. And that fight was supposed to happen 2 years ago, and at that time, and that was disappointing for me. But once again, it's unfortunate, and honestly, like I do still think that Triple G fight will happen, but I think
It doesn't
Triple
matter
G,
anymore.
yeah,
It
exactly,
doesn't matter. Like even Triple G isn't being active. You know, he looked super bad in the second fight.
yeah.
Um, he's fought
What do you
what
think about his
twice, twice after
performance on
that,
this one, though?
huh?
What do you think about his performance for this last fight that he fought?
Triple G.
Yeah,
It was average. You know, again, he didn't really fight anybody, right?
yeah,
Um, I think it was just like a tune-up comeback fight for
hmm
him, and it was just whatever. I did see like the zone was trying to hype him up a little bit
hmm
with they did
yeah.
like
I
kind of like
actually
a
saw
series
that. I thought that was
documentary.
pretty cool. Yeah.
I haven't watched them. I don't know if you watched them, but
Yeah, I watched them. They're pretty cool. They break down a little bit of his history, how he's coming up the ranks, and then the last episode. It's only 3 episodes. In the last episode, it's they explained the Triple G. The first they only go for the Triple G Canelo one. Which my opinion, I think he won that one.
definitely.
And you know that's just my opinion. But once again, we had a fucking tie on that one, and that that's the thing. It should have been 1-1, maybe one in a tie, and then the last one would have been the nice banger at that time, like But it
Here
sucks. It really sucks. It's a frustrating part.
here's my thing too about Canelo, bro, and like um why they've done all this shit to hype him up so much, right? Like when you think about it, you could have put that hype on Triple G, but they
Hmm.
chose Canelo because Canelo had a potential for a bigger crowd,
Yeah,
like fan wise. Um,
yeah,
like Mexicans, bro. Like you have to have a Mexican guy that is putting on a show, is putting on fights, right? Because the majority of boxing
mm,
fans are fucking Mexican. Like that's a big part. The WBC council is Mexican, right? So like you
yeah,
have to have a Mexican fighter like that just has all the fucking spotlight. And that's why they couldn't give the fight. They didn't want fucking Triple G to win, bro. That first
yeah,
fight. They couldn't give it to him. Like if you have Canelo lose and you give all the spotlight to Triple G, like how many fans are really gonna follow Triple G
yeah.
instead
No,
of
I
following
agree.
Canelo? You know what I mean? And it's like it's all like so obvious though, dude. But it's
Yeah,
people aren't hardcore and follow everything the way we do to
yeah,
understand that like Canelo's just pure fucking hype, bro. He's
yeah,
good. He's good. Yes, he is. But he's pure fucking hype because everything's just at this point getting handed to him. He's not fighting the opponents he should be fighting. He's fighting fucking bullshit ass people. He has a fucking the WBC vacating titles off other guys so they can give it to him and they could rank some bullshit ass guy and have him fight it and have him win the belt because it's the right thing to do, bro. It's like it's what's gonna sell the show at the end of the day. It's what's gonna hype up fans even more. The fact that a Mexican fighter has the WBC belt, has a Mexican council belt, all that kind of shit. And I mean, to be honest, bro, Mexicans like they're hardcore fans, bro. Like they follow their guys no matter what. You look at with the Mexican soccer team, bro. It's like win or
Yeah,
lose, like everybody's cheering for them anyways.
yeah. And then we got the Modelos. We got the
Coronas.
Coronas. I mean, it's really, you know what, it really is a culture with that. You know, as far as
You
like
have
the
to
the
have that
whole
Mexican
thing.
guy.
Yeah, yeah. But I
And I
mean,
told
but
you and I told you with Andy Reese, right? I told you
yeah,
like it doesn't benefit Canelo that Andy Reese uh beats Joshua the second time because then Andy Reese takes all the spotlight. And I think he knew that. And now what happened? He has him in his camp. At the end of the day, I think Canelo's just gonna cash out, and then all of a sudden he has all these fighters in his gym now. Guess who's gonna promote them?
yeah,
He's gonna sign those guys up, and
yeah.
guess who's gonna get paid to do that?
Now let me tell you something, man. Let me rewind it a little bit as far as like changing the topic for a second. And you brought up a good point. That's why I'm bringing it up. What do you think about? And you brought it up as far as those guys that are training with in Canelo's camp. Some of those guys are top ranked. Some of those guys are Golden Boy, and we even got Andy being from PBC. Which are the three biggest promotions, I guess, right now. Um, what do you think about Teofimo Lopez as far as that big contract he got? And let's talk about how Top Rank and Bob Arum is looking like
Fucking
he's
up.
having old timers now, and like he's forgetting how good that fucking kid is. And including on top of that, the guy has the biggest platform, really. Out of all the platforms, dude. Honestly, even like let's just say Canelo. If Canelo goes to ESPN, bro, that shit would fucking blow the fuck up. And we got the zone with him, right? But ESPN is like the holy grails as far as like sports. Like you don't get no bigger platform, you know, than that. So I wanted your opinion on it. I just think it's really fucked up, and even the Crawford thing that's going on too is fucked up. I mean, it's just crazy. But go ahead and
Top
I want to hear your
top
side.
rank is fucking up, bro. Bottom line. They're losing. They lost their best athlete, their best fighter,
Mhm.
who literally just fucking shocked the world by beating Lomachenko, who everybody was saying everybody was saying he was the pound for pound, right?
Yeah,
And this guy comes out of nowhere and um, beats him. But now, top rank, and it's not the first time, right? I
yeah,
mean, it happened. It happened with Mayweather. Happened with Oscar, right? I think
yeah,
Oscar was with
yeah. Oscar
Alvarez
was in
too.
that. Yeah,
It's happened so many times throughout the years, throughout history that Top Rank just loses their top fighters, bro. And it's because like I think Bob Arum is just so old school, right? And he's
yeah,
like he doesn't want to pay his guys. He doesn't want to drop that pocket change that money on them.
yeah,
And it's like, bro, like you have to realize that the sport's changing, that these guys can go make fucking bank anywhere else, dude. And if you're not gonna give it to them, then somebody else is gonna fucking give it to them.
yeah.
And I was really surprised that it's what's it called, Thriller?
Thriller, yeah, Thriller, which was the
Uh,
Mike Tyson and Roy Jones.
yeah,
I think that might even be something. I think Mike Tyson has something to do with that. I
I can
believe.
see that. I can see that. I don't know why, but I when I first heard it, I thought it was Jay Z. Doesn't Jay
Okay.
Z have something like that too?
I think you're thinking of Title. I think the app, the music app.
No, he manages athletes too. No,
Yeah, but he has like the Rock Nation, and he actually had one of the boxers. He had Miguel Cotto at the end of his
yeah,
career, and then he
yep,
also had
that's what I was
Andre
thinking.
Ward. Andre Ward too. you know.
Yeah, that's what I
I,
was thinking of.
yeah,
But I mean, good for Teofimo, bro. Like, good for him. Like, I remember, bro. I don't know if you remember. A while back ago, I want to say like maybe 2 years ago or less. I sent you a snap from Teofimo, and I told
mhm,
you, well, it was on Instagram, and I sent it to you. And I was like, dude, check this kid out. Like, this kid's gonna be.
yeah,
And I remember, there was like a behind the scenes kind of thing where he was, having dinner with Bob Arum, and they were talking about like, man, I hope you. Bob Arum was telling, I hope you're ready, like this and that. He's like, oh, I'm ready, and he was just talking about how grateful he was for Bob Arum, right?
yeah,
And that he's been looking out for him, that he's been putting him on this and that, and then you have this shit come up. It's like good for
Teofimo.
Teofimo that like you have guys that are loyal, that will stay no matter what, even if they get money offered, more money offered anywhere else. Um, but he stuck to his guns, bro, and he said peace, and
Yeah.
he got banked,
You know what's another sad situation with that top rank thing is Crawford, which everybody wants to see that Crawford Spence fight.
and he's
And
just
I
sitting on
honestly
the
don't
bench.
think that that fight's gonna be one of those fights that unfortunately we might not even get to see until years later, and which is sad too. Like it's right now, those guys are at their prime, and that's what we want to see as fans. But it's just so hard as far as like top rank and then PBC. It's
But
just a fucking mess.
that's what's wrong with boxing, though, bro. Like you mentioned earlier, how there's so much titles, how there's so much bullshit. In my opinion, there's way too many weight classes. Um, there's all these promotions, all these. First of all, you have management, right? You have management, and then you have um, the broadcasting shit, right? So you have Top Rank, and then you have the broadcasting on ESPN, right? And you
Yeah,
have PBC, who's technically Showtime, right?
with
Um,
Fox,
yeah,
with
with
Fox.
Fox, and there's just so much shit, dude. And then these guys don't want to play along with these guys to make up a fight, and that's why we never see the fights happen. We saw it with Mayweather and Pacquiao. That's why that was part of the reason why it took so long to make
Yeah.
that fight, because they couldn't come to an agreement.
You know what? The only fight I have to disagree with you, and it happened quick, and actually, like it was the fight for the fans that was really good. It was Fury versus Wilder. That
Yeah,
was the one that was the only one that they made it happen, and it was good. It was really good, and
and
we're
even
not gonna
even
talk about
even
Wilder
Joshua
today.
and Reese.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, that's true, man. But it's I don't know, man. It's funny. It's we'll have to see what happens, because I really think that Canelo has something up his sleeve when it comes to promoting and putting fighters into
Yeah,
his gym, and promoting them, and getting behind them. And I think it's super super interesting. Um, like you just mentioned, that you have Reese who's with PBC, you have Ryan who's still with Golden Boy technically.
yeah,
Um, but they're gonna move. Uh, they're gonna get them out of the way, how they literally did it in the last fight.
yeah,
Poor Oscar
yeah.
was just
They wanted to
you
take
know
the picture, and then it just didn't happen. And they literally brought Canelo over instead of having Oscar. And Oscar was just kind of, I mean, at that point, you might as well give the camera to Oscar so he can take the picture with Canelo and Ryan Garcia, which was fucking crazy. But
fucked up.
you know,
But yeah, bro. I mean, it's sad, bro. It's sad to all see all this shit happening in boxing, bro, because it's the one sport that you know we've grown up with as far as combat sports, right?
yeah,
And now you have the UFC who's coming up, and if I know we've had this discussion before, but I think UFC and MMA have kind of overleaped boxing at this point.
yeah,
I know you don't fully agree with that, but
yeah,
um, we'll see, bro. We'll see what happens. You still have so many fights that can be made,
yeah,
but that probably won't be made
yeah,
because of all that bullshit. And we'll see, man.
yeah. So now, like, I think I disagree with you in the sense that, like, maybe in the future too, as well. Like, I mean, we're starting to see this. I mean, first, like, Teofimo Lopez is one of the persons that, like, he said, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna ride my own wave instead of, keep being with Top Rank and, Bob Arum doing nickels and dimes to him, right? So maybe, I mean, there's a chance that maybe in the future, and this is gonna take a long time, but eventually maybe we just have free agent fighters where themselves can make these contracts, or they don't have to deal with promotions and stuff like that. Will it ever take? Maybe it will never happen when we're still here, but maybe, hopefully, it almost seems like eventually these guys are starting to do more of that. And there's different platforms now that you don't really have to, look at Thrill. Now we're gonna have to, I'm a big Tefino Lopez fan.
Did
Now I'm gonna have to, get that pay-per-view some way, somehow,
did you
and yeah.
did you watch that fight, the Mike Tyson and Thriller?
Yeah, I did. And you know what? The production is good, but it's like, you had Snoop Dogg as a commentator, and then he did a concert there. I mean, it was some good commentary by Snoop Dogg. I mean, I thought it was hilarious when they were fighting, and it was like, he's saying, I think he said, it's like two uncles fighting at a barbecue, stuff like that. And it has its good stuff, but one thing that we got to realize, it was an exhibition bout. All of those were technically, it was a agreement of gentlemen that they weren't gonna go
So
punch in the head and stuff. But you
so
know,
was that its own app like the Zone?
no, it was its own app. You actually had to buy it through the internet,
Okay.
and then I was able to go through the internet, and then I did it on my phone, and then I was able to plug it in, kind of do that.
Cast.
Yeah, so that's how it worked, and it's gonna suck. I mean, unless these guys put it together and get an app, which I think they should, because I think some guys are gonna end up doing that transition. Um, so I guess we'll see. We'll see how the production is. Um, the only thing that I'm kind of scared of is that um the commentary sometimes, like, for example, the Zone is not the fucking best. I feel like sometimes, like, man, honestly, if all the commentary, like, as far as ESPN, Showtime, I would have to rank ESPN number one, because they do have legit guys that know their shit. Plus, you got fighters that were legends. You got Andre Ward there. I like how he breaks down things. Um, and then you got, I would rank Showtime, number two, just because they've been doing it for so long, and their commentary guys are pretty good too as well. And then obviously the Zone and whatever else is left at number three and four and five. You
Yeah.
know, um, but yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too. Is like, sometimes you do need that little bit of education before.
Yeah, of course. It's like the UFC, bro. The UFC, how they bring in the previous fighters. You have Dominic Cruz, you have DC,
Yeah,
you have Bisping, right? Guys that know the game very well, that know the techniques, that know you know, the game pretty much from head to
yeah.
toe.
I think even the feeling of just walking to the
Being in there.
cage or walking to the ring. I mean, they describe, like, oh, you know what? It's a, lonely tunnel. Sometimes I
Yeah.
hear, it's
Yeah.
stuff like that, you get an insight that, what, we're not there. So, like, or we've never been there on the big show. So we do want to get that, I guess, perspective on it. So
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But we'll see what happens, bro. Like, there's still a lot of fights to be made, and they're
yeah,
they're not they're not
March is
making
gonna
them.
be busy. March will be
Um,
busy. Definitely busy.
but we're gonna have to end it here pretty soon.
Okay.
Just we'll probably be doing another episode this week to cover the UFC. We got a big show coming up this weekend. UFC 259, three title shots, three titles being defended, four champions, and a lot of other fights, bro, on the undercard too.
Yeah, and then you also got ex champions at that. You got Dominic Cruz on that
Yeah.
card. Guys that have fought or basically ranked number two or three in title contention. So
Yeah, so we'll go over that. We'll have that coming up. So stay tuned to that. Like Ruben said earlier, thank you for everybody that watched the first one. If you're watching this one, thank you. We appreciate the feedback. Everybody that's been sending their comments, their their little opinions and stuff like that. We, whether they're um, whatever it may be, like we consider them like my audio, right? We got the mic.
Yeah.
um, and a lot of people said we were jumping around a little bit too much in the last one, so that's why we're doing this one in boxing. We'll do MMA in another one. So thank you for the feedback to everybody, and we'll just keep
And
it
don't
going,
also,
man.
yeah, and don't also forget that we'll include the betting. I know there's some guys that want to know the betting.
The other one.
And it's a work in progress, and we really appreciate everybody that's given us, opinions and everything. Like I said, we're gonna work hard. There will be some. We're gonna try to actually get some Alcien merch as well. We're working on that. And then yeah, hit the follow on the Instagram. Also
Actually, you know what?
subscribe.
I'm gonna do this, bro. If people are still listening, this is towards the end, right? People are
Yeah.
still listening right now. If you take a screenshot, and that followed is grayed out and says following now, and you tag us on Instagram, we'll get you a free T-shirt.
Oh, okay.
First,
That's
first,
dope.
first, first 10 people to do that will get a free
Okay,
T-shirt.
and then we're also coming. We're bringing back the Ruin El Teddy Bear shirt too as well. We got the logo. We're bringing that back too. So
Very
everybody,
nice.
yeah. So yeah, we're excited and we're happy and we're gonna keep it going. And like I said, it's a work in progress. So appreciate everybody. Much love to everybody. And I guess this is it, man. Do you got something
All right.
else to say?
No, I'm good, bro.
All right, then I guess it's out. We're out. Peace,
Peace.
everybody. Have a good day. Stay safe out there.
Fuck being on some chill shit. We go 0 to 100, nigga, real quick. They be on that rap to pay the